Welcome back, Automotive Inc. here. Today, guys, we are about a month and some change in of using the Peragon Ultimate XD uh, folding tonneau cover, if you will. Now, before we get started, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button. Now, when I do put in a caveat to this video, I have owned so many different covers, it's insane. Back in like 2010, I started buying the back BAK G2, I think was the first generation. My dad still has one on his truck. And over the years, I've tried them all. The Lear, the Undercover Flex. I've tried cheap ones. I've tried cheap hard folding, cheap quad folding, cheap tri-folding, cheap vinyl ones that basically are just roll-up soft tonneaus. If you go to the search bar in the channel, I will show you installs and reviews and how those covers all work. Now, I've always wanted to try a Peragon. So Peragon, the base cover, is very within the reach of where everybody else is currently at. The back, the Undercover Flex, they're all going to be right around that $1,000, $1,200 mark. Now you can go up with Peragon, just like you can go up with back and Undercover Flex and all of that. You can reach really high. Now this cover itself, there are always running promotions on Peragon, so there's always a few discounts you can get wherever those may be. You just have to go to their site and type it in. One cool thing about this is Peragon is one of the very few that will give you a 100-day free trial. So you can buy this thing, install this thing, use it, don't abuse it, but you can use it for 100 days and decide if you like it, dislike it, send it back, whatnot, get your money back. That is very, very rare. Now, I always try and buy American products if I can. Peragon has been in business for over 25 years now, built here in America by hardworking people, and I think they build a really great product. Now, they did send this out to me. I reached out to them and said, hey, this is what my channel does. I've always had interest in finding one and trying one, but I've just always been reluctant because I hear all the horror stories about people not being able to get it adjusted right, weird buffeting sounds, the cover rattles, whatnot. But I also wanted to try the Ultimate because the Ultimate offers a few things that people that buy the lower one say, I would like this to have been changed or that to have been changed. And if it just did this, this cover would be awesome. Well, that's where the Ultimate comes in. It does have a nice rugged top coating on it, very similar to it's a matte finish. It's very similar to rhino lining. It's not exactly as thick as that, but it looks really good. Now, if we take a look inside the bed, guys, basically I have all of my stuff up there. It clears it so I can open the bed cover and everything. And basically you're just gonna close it by pulling this strap. Now, I do have an install video on this, guys, where you can see how it's installed. It's actually very easy. Didn't have any problems with adjustments. So you get the rail back here like this. You start on the passenger side. You can see it has a little dip there, and you pull it up, it locks. You come over here to the driver's side, you pull it up, it locks. Now, somebody says, well, you can't stand on this. You can stand on the other covers. That's never came up for me. I don't stand on the other covers. It's really not a thing for me. I think these panels are rated at 100 pounds or so, of trying to be able to hold weights if you had to set something up there temporarily. With theirs, like many others, they offer ladder racks and everything for contractors and people that want to haul other stuff and don't want to have to always deal with their bed stuff, so they can put that on. And what I'll tell you guys is, the overall construction of this thing is really, really good. You can look at the finish here. It doesn't scratch easily. There's nothing here to really fade out, if you will, like enamel covered ones. Like if you get certain backs or the paint will eventually start to wear. Depending on how you stack it, when you put it away, it can wear. And another thing I did notice about the last two MX4s that I bought, which were right around 1400, is these gap seals shrunk in heat. So they'd shrink and be way out here, and the next day I'd come out and they'd kind of be a little bit closer. You had to pull them back into the rails. So that's going to come up with water resistance. Now, this is not a flush mount bed system. I'm okay with that. Neither was the Undercover Flex, and neither were several of the other cheaper ones. But where this exact model shines is worth its weight in gold. So this seals really well. You can buy the alternate seal to also go on here. It actually goes on this piece right here, and it'll give you even an additional more seal. Now, I will tell you this. Somebody said this cover is not waterproof. It's not. They don't claim it to be waterproof. What they say is it keeps stuff out of the weather, and it is very resistant to water. And by water, I mean at the car wash, I mean at the driving down the road in the rain, and everything like that. If it's closed correctly, I've had zero water intrusion. So just like stainless, guys, it doesn't mean it's rust proof, it just means it stains less than everything else. So water resistance or weather helping, this cover does a really good job. Now, so do the other ones. They do pretty good. Now, I noticed the last few back flips, they did change their little seal on the back, which does help it also seal. But none of them are impervious to getting a little bit of water, especially if you're going to sit there and direct a high pressure water on it. It will get in there. And then also I did notice on my last couple back flips that I get a lot of dust in there. So dirt roads, a lot of dust. Now, in a world of things and perfect and bad things, there are very few things to dislike about this cover. And I will caveat, I have zero complaints about this cover. Two things you need to know. As long as you follow their video, or you can watch my video too on how I installed it, because of course they're the pros, this is the first time I ever installed one of these. I followed their video, installed it, no problems. Now, when they talk about water resistance or waterproof, if you come out and this thing's covered in water and you decide to fold it in, collapse it, the water will run down all over your stuff. So I carry a microfiber towel. You can see my swipe marks. I wipe it off before I open it. It's only in those few circumstances that you had a ton of rain. Of course, if it dries, that's before you open, it's not a big deal, but it will pour down. That is not a problem. It is just something that you need to know. Now, the only other thing that I would say would make this better, and Peragon doesn't need to give it to us. If they just offered it to buy it, I would buy it every time, and that is a bag that when you fold this up and want to remove it, for whatever reason you want to remove the cover to get full access, you have a dirt bike or whatever, is a bag to keep these panels in, because if you're going to go out in an area where you're taking this off and taking your cover with you, I don't want the rollers getting covered in dust or dirt or whatever. So I bought a cheap little nylon bag off of Amazon. It's too big for the cover, but it does what I want it to do as handles. I put it in there, zip it shut, and protect the cover. So not a complaint, not a problem. Most people don't care. I do. So I bought my own cover. So if they offered us a nice little canvas or nylon bag, that would be a huge, huge plus. But again, guys, the overall construction, everything like that, if you don't want your cord hanging down, you can go down there. So the Ultimate has these rods, these locking rods, and it allows you to still keep your box sling, which is awesome. These don't really intrude. These are protected by the actual top rail, so when you open it, you don't have to worry about really catching anything on it and whatnot. But in true form, to get it to start moving forward, we push that rod forward, we come over here to the passenger side, and you'll see that front panel just kind of start the actual move. Now, you can come in here and open this bad boy from either side. Now, this is a brand new cover, and it does take a little bit of, muscle to get it to go in. But at the end of the day, that's what helps it seal. I mean, this thing has some very robust seals on it. Now, once you get it here, guys, it works with my fifth wheel hitch. Another huge plus. Now the back does that, the undercover flex does that. But what I can tell you is when you're ready to remove this panel set, it's super easy. You don't have to unscrew knobs or pins or anything like that on most of the other covers. And if you do a trifold, you may not have access without taking the cover completely off. Some of them flip up against the window, some of them stand straight up and then block the window. This doesn't block the window, so that's awesome. You basically take your strap, you tie it around there, and then you can take this cover off in seconds. And it's way lighter than the back flip. It's way lighter than the undercover flex. And that's nice. I don't typically need to take this out, but I did take it out and put it in my bag when we went to put a kayak in here. And it gives you basically access to all your stuff. You do have plenty of room for extra storage underneath there. And then when you're ready, now I'm on a hill incline, so it's gonna go to its first detent hang there, but I can still get in the bed, not have to mess with it. Again, you can use the strap. If you're gonna remove it, there's a little clip here. You just kind of reach behind it, you kind of collapse it all, and then you reach behind it, click it out, slide this side out first, and then pull the other side out. That's how easy it is. Now, again, some people said they don't like the Peragon because there's no incremental opening. So if you have a back flip, you can flip that first panel back and get access or put some stuff in the very back. The problem is the wind can then blow that and flip it up against your stuff. I didn't run into a ton, but it can happen. If you flip it another one, same thing. That once you get to the end, it does have some clips. You can clip it shut. This one actually offers incremental opening. So when we pull this bad boy back again, it can open in a 2-panel or 4-panel, meaning 1, 2, or 1, 2, 3, 4. All you have to do from here is, once you're there, is basically pull these back and then push the cover to the front. And now it's secured to ride in this position. It's not going to move. And that is awesome because it doesn't impose on the back window. It doesn't lay on top of itself, creating some type of windsock. It's really, really cool. So, you know, when you're ready for the cover to go back into its form, you just push the knobs in, fold it back up. You want it in the 4-piece increment, it'll leave you about 1.5 feet of the bed open. So, you know, you just want to put a little piece of something in there. Awesome. So that is why you would probably want to upgrade to the Ultimate. Now, if those incremental openings aren't that big, you're saying, hey, I'm gonna use my bed, then all of the covers will fold up against the cab. You tie it off with the strap. It doesn't move. It doesn't rattle. It's really ingenious that they came up with this particular system. Whether or not they'll later put it on their lesser systems, I don't know. Maybe it's not as important, so people stepping up to the Ultimate, this would be the cover I choose, period. No matter the cost, just because most of them are about the same cost. So I really, really enjoy this cover, guys. I would highly recommend it. But again, you can go to the channel and check out how all the rest of those covers look, how their function is. I really don't have anything bad to say about most of them, although I feel like the quality has started to go down on the backs. The undercover flex, I'm not a really big fan of that one. It sits really high above the bed rails, almost feels like it's on top of the bed one. So really, when you're looking at these, I like this one also better than the roll-up ones, the ones that kind of go back into a cartridge in the bed. I've had a couple of those, and those systems over time, they get crap in them, and they start to not function correctly. And I've actually had 0 wind buffeting. This cover is solid. It does not move, it does not shake, it does not rattle. Going down a bumpy road doesn't rattle. Going in the wind, it doesn't rattle. As for fuel economy, I'll be honest with you guys, I have never in my time experienced a huge fuel efficiency gain from a Tonneau. I know that it's there because it helps with wind resistance, but that's a subjective measure that's kind of hard individually to say that it's a big deal. But what this does, guys, it gives you the full access to your bed. It gives you security. Now, if people really want your stuff that bad, they're going to need some big tools to get into this bad boy, because this thing is beefy. And the mechanical makeup of this series, the Ultimate, is very similar to the other ones, the base, and then the middle grade one. So overall, security is very good. Again, water resistance is very good compared to most of the other ones I've used. I've had this thing sitting in the sun. I've seen no shrinkage of the seals or the gaskets. Been around lots of rain, taken to the car wash so many times. No problems with water. Again, Peragon is not saying that. I'm saying my experience is this might be the best sealing one. And I don't even have the extra tailgate seal on there, but I would definitely recommend it if you're worried about dust. I haven't seen a lot of dust in here, but at the end of the day. So I honestly will say that Peragon, you nailed it with your covers. And whether you're getting this model or cheaper model, I think you get a great cover. I would highly recommend it. I'm very proud to have it on the truck this summer and check it out. And after 100 days, I won't be sending it back. And when they sent this cover out to here at Automotive Inc., all they said was, we asked that you put out high quality, fair content about the cover. And so we are going to keep reporting back on it and how it does, because I know this cover, Tonneau covers, should spike a lot of people's interest. And what is also cool, guys, I don't have my hitch in here right now, but my hitch can actually stay in. The full B&W can stay in, and this just slides right over it. So I don't even have to worry about taking that thing out to have my cover actually work. Now, I will link Peragon's website in there, but you guys can always just go to Peragon website and check out their products, their reviews, call them and ask questions. If you have an install question, you can ask me. You can always reach out to them. They have really good customer service. And again, guys, I have the install down below, and I appreciate you guys always being here.